Hey guys, what's up? This is Jordan Crook with TechCrunch, and I'm here at Betaworks Labs with Andrew McLaughlin and Jake Levine, who are in charge of Digg Reader. What's up, guys?
How are you doing?
How's it going?
It's a big day, right?
It is a big day.
Big week.
Big week. You're going to give me a demo, right? Can I see what's up?
Hear. Yeah, totally.
Before we get into the hard questions?
Sure. So this product is the one that we built and that we're launching tomorrow is it's basically made for Google Reader users to come over, check it out, import their feeds, most importantly, before the shutdown date on July 1st. The design is super simple, super efficient, super clean. It's made for the kind of people who want to consume the most amount of information in the least amount of time.
Right.
And so the import process is super seamless. You bring it in, you'll notice that your folders and feeds are in exactly the same place. And the experience will be familiar in a good way. And so just diving in here, what you're looking at now is the expanded view of the all feed.
Okay.
When we asked our users whether they prefer list view or expanded view, we found that about 50% said list and 50% said expanded.
So you know exactly where to start.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So we started with a button on the top right that said, switch to list or switch to expanded view. The emphasis here is on speed, and we know that a lot of our power users are big fans of keyboard shortcuts, and so those will be built in. Those are built in for launch. So the usual sort of J and K still work here. What I'm most proud of in this experience and that the dev team got done in time was just the speed with which you can power through feeds here.
When we set out to build a reader, it's basically one piece of a kind of like an architecture of consumption that we want to build that is designed to pull signal out of this very noisy, cacophonous flood of stuff that's coming at you every day on the internet. So in the product that we're launching this week, we have the very first kind of baby step in that direction, which is we've got a popular sort. So you can, so we're scoring your last sort of 1,000 or so items, and we're scoring them against a bunch of social signals that are designed to tell us what things are popular out in the internet right now. So it's universal popularity across the internet in the English language. So it's only one little flavor of what we think we need to build eventually. And next step will be to allow you to see what's popular in your social circles. Mm-hmm. And so that's something we've already built called news.me, which uses the Twitter social graph to pull out what's interesting among your connections there. And then beyond that, we also want to be able to tell you what's most likely to be interesting to you based on what you follow, what you've clicked on, what you've liked, what you've tweeted, what you've shared into Facebook. We very much don't think that kind of RSS is the be-all and end-all of feeds. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned your Twitter feed or your Facebook stream, and we'd like to be able to pull out, the set of URLs that are being shared through your Twitter stream, treat that as a feed, even though it's not RSS, and then let you use our ranking algorithms to be able to say, like, out of all the things shared in Twitter today, over the last week, over the last year, what are the biggest ones globally? What are the biggest ones in New York? What are the biggest ones in my social circles? What are the ones that are most likely to be interesting to me?
What about the other kind of Betaworks properties? There's Chartbeat, there's Bitly, there's obviously Digg, Tapestry. There's so much going on at Betaworks around content, whether it's consumption or creation or what have you. How are these various products, not just the Digg kind of suite of products, but how are these other products going to integrate and work with Digg Reader?
So on one level, we want to be careful to be sort of like neutral. So for example, like Instapaper is in Betaworks, but we're going to treat Pocket and Readability and Flipboard, all exactly the same. We're not going to try to tilt people towards one of our other products.
You're not going to pull a Google and make it only Google Plus?
Exactly. You must use your AOL login. So in that sense, it sort of doesn't matter, right, in terms of integration. If we decide to make it, to sort of integrate with one reader, we'll do it for all. If we make when we make our API available, it'll be open to everybody. We're not going to have privileged access. But I do think it allows us to do two things. So having these companies under the Betaworks umbrella. One is we get access to the talent at Bitly to be able to talk to them about what Bitly data could do for us, and then set up a business relationship that makes sense for both companies, because after all, it's an independent company.
Right.
But it just means that we're more aware and more conscious, and I hope we'll be a little bit more aggressive at taking advantage of some of the cool features and capabilities that we can bake out of these companies. The other is that we've got some really interesting little products, like you mentioned Tapestry. I would love to make Tapestry, render beautifully in our reader, just because it's kind of like a cool thing, and it'd be neat to be able to discover every new Tapestry that gets published, which is not a huge volume these days, and have it be as clickable and accessible in our reader as it is elsewhere. And just having those people working in the same office as us makes it kind of easier to figure that out and easier to work through the kinks and so forth. That's what I'm excited about.
So what were some of the biggest challenges in this last 3 months? And I know you said your roadmap's really over the next year. There's going to be a lot that's changing, and obviously then you'll launch a full premium product as well. But what have been kind of the biggest challenges in building a reader? I know that infrastructure is probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, it's the it's certainly the invisible things, the things that that people sort of take for granted, like the speed and the reliability of Google Reader. Comes with an incredible infrastructure at Google, and so getting to a point where this product is this fast and this stable with a team of 2 back-end engineers, I think is something that the development team deserves like a ton of kudos for.
Right.
And we're super proud of them and excited for the product. So it's certainly the invisible things. I mean, we spent the first month just in meeting after meeting and phone call after phone call with power users, with people that worked on Google Reader at Google and built the first iterations of the product there, talking both about infrastructure but also about design, about utility, about features, what needs to be there, what can come in V1, in V2, etc. We asked about our users to join an email list if they're interested in taking surveys, and we found 18,000 people signed up in the first day or two. And so we sent out a handful of surveys to those people and consistently got over 8,000 responses to like a 3-page survey, which was shocking. But I think it also speaks to the degree to which these users care about this product and want to see it work. And so that data was invaluable in our sort of development process and design process. And the people that took it should be proud to know that sort of like their efforts contributed to what they see here today.
Google Reader is dying. It's going to be gone. You guys have some competitors in the mix. Some of them have been around for a long time, been competing kind of against the behemoth, and they're ready to take the stage now too. I mean, who do you consider your top competitors? I don't think that you really think of Flipboard as one of them, right? Flipboard is for a different audience right now. Who are your biggest competitors, and how do you beat them? What are you going to do?
So the ones that I think are doing a really great job, like building good products, and that we would be fools not to really keep up with, are Feedly, Reader with 2 E's. I think Flipboard, even though it visually is really different, it's still trying to serve that active consumption. We'd be foolish not to pay close attention to that. One of the things they're doing very nicely, for example, is making it possible to log into your subscriptions to places like the New York Times and see that content in full on their platform. One of the things we know we've got to crack at Google Reader is supporting subscription-based publishers as well as ad-based publishers. So both of those kinds of publishers need to be happy to have their content show up in our reader. And that means we've got to crack a kind of like a standards issue, which I think is one
what's
that...
the plan there, by
well,
the way?
so we've
This
started...
is an ad-free experience.
Well, what we're hoping is that we can make this pay for itself through the premium product.
All right, so before we close, let's just get the deets on these rollouts.
We start adding people in batches. So
Right.
what we're going to be doing is scaling up, and anybody that wants to get into the queue will have the ability to get into the queue, and then in some rough chronological order, we'll be adding people in as we scale up.
And then, so for right now, if you're one of those people that's getting on Digg Reader, chances are you want to import your Google Reader, and then after Google Reader dies, you'll be able to, import your OMPL file or add on your own.
Correct.
And then when do we expect the iPhone apps and stuff to be ready?
iPhone apps
and
launch
iPad,
this week.
They're both launching. And then Android, what's the
maybe
plan for
3
Android?
weeks.
Okay.
We're just a little behind on the Android schedule. We would hope to have it done this week, but it took us longer than expected. Betaworks has historically not been an Android shop. We've historically been like an iOS, iPhone shop. And that's...
So Patrick told me.
Yeah, it's one of the things it's one of the things we're trying to get better at, but both at Digg and kind of in Betaworks in general. And this is one of the first sort of really significant Android apps that we've built sort of from scratch. And so it's been a little bit of a learning process for us, but we think it's going to be pretty awesome and worth the wait.
And for the record, we're not rolling it out to like we're not rolling it out slowly because we want like to maximize hype. We're rolling it out slowly because like we want it to work for everyone when they come in. So thanks to everyone for being patient, and everyone should have access by Tuesday night, Wednesday morning latest.
Can I have access by like right now?
Can
you make that work? I came here.
We can leave it on this computer and you can play around with Andrew's account.
I would love to play around with your feed. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. I
Thank
really
you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for Digg Reader.